6 million tons. That's how many bags of orange, dust-covered snacks the world eats through every single year. And somewhere out there right now, a machine is spitting out 5,000 of them a minute. We've all had Cheeto fingers, but almost nobody knows the weirdly specific chain of events that had to happen for that orange dust to exist at all. Starting with the US Army lab, a food shortage, and a total accident. Let's get into it.
Here's the twist most people don't know. Cheetos technically wouldn't exist without World War II. Back in the early 1940s, the U.S. military had a logistics problem. Fresh cheese was heavy, it spoiled fast, and shipping it overseas to soldiers was a nightmare. So government food scientists started experimenting with ways to dehydrate cheese into something lightweight and shelf-stable. In 1943, a USDA dairy scientist named George Sanders tried it, and instead of the cheese solidifying the way he expected,
Doolin didn't have the money or trucks to sell this nationwide on his own, so he teamed up with a potato chip businessman named Herman Lay. That partnership worked so well that in 1961, their two companies officially merged into one name you've definitely seen on a vending machine: Frito-Lay. 4 years after that, Frito-Lay merged again, this time with the Pepsi-Cola company, creating PepsiCo, the corporate giant that still owns Cheetos today. What started as one man's kitchen experiment with military surplus cheese powder is now a snack empire. Cheetos aren't made from just any corn. They need a specific type with high starch content, because that's what gives the final snack its light, crunchy structure once it puffs up. Farmers let the corn stay in the field until the kernels are fully mature and dry, with moisture levels under 15%. That's the sweet spot. Hard enough to mill properly, dry enough to extrude cleanly. Massive combine harvesters roll through the fields, cutting stalks and feeding the ears into a threshing drum, which spins at high speed to knock the kernels loose from the cob. Fans and screens blow away the husks and debris, and the clean kernels get dumped straight into grain trucks headed for the mill. At the processing plant, that corn gets ground into two forms: fine cornmeal and slightly coarser corn grit. The texture here actually matters a lot. Get it wrong, and the corn won't expand properly later in the machine. This flour gets pumped through stainless steel tubing into massive industrial mixers, where it's blended with a precisely controlled amount of water, salt, and stabilizers. Too much water, and This next part is genuinely wild physics. The mixed dough goes into an extruder where screw-shaped cylinders force it forward under intense heat and pressure, hot enough and compressed enough that the dough is basically being cooked alive as it moves. Then it hits the die, a metal plate with small holes shaped exactly like a Cheeto. The second that superheated, pressurized dough hits open air, it explodes outward almost instantly. That sudden depressurization is literally what makes the still soft pieces ride a conveyor into an industrial oven where hot air circulates around them for roughly 5 seconds. That's it, 5 seconds. In that tiny window, the internal moisture flash evaporates, which causes a second wave of expansion and locks in that signature crunch. From there, they move through cooling conveyors that gradually bring the temperature down before the next stage. Right now, though, they're plain. Golden, crispy, toasted corn, and completely flavorless. The iconic taste hasn't even happened yet. Here's something almost no one knows. That orange powder covering your fingers has an official name. Frito-Lay calls it Cheetle. And Cheetle isn't really cheese in the way you'd think. It's a blend of roughly a dozen ingredients: dehydrated cheddar, whey, salt, MSG, natural and artificial flavoring, and food coloring, engineered to deliver an intensely concentrated cheese flavor without ever touching actual melted cheese. Before the Cheetle goes on, the still warm Cheetos tumble through a slightly tilted rotating drum where fine nozzles spray a light coat. From the seasoning drum, the Cheetos travel on vibrating conveyors, gentle enough not to shatter them, toward automated weighing systems. A multi-head scale with several load cells calculates the exact combination of pieces needed to hit the correct weight for each bag, down to fractions of an ounce. The packaging film is shaped into a tube, sealed at the bottom,
filled with the measured portion, then sealed and cut at the top to separate each individual bag. But right before that final seal, something easy to miss happens. A small...
To keep up with global demand, Frito-Lay produces around 4 million bags of Cheetos every day. That's about 18 tons an hour, translating to nearly 1.5 billion bags a year. Feeding that machine takes an enormous constant supply of corn, cheddar, and manufacturing precision most people never think about while they're licking Cheetle off their fingertips. And honestly, that might be the strangest part of this whole story. A snack this massive, this global, this deeply embedded in pop culture, it exists because a military scientist